Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leathercraft, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us or a good idea for a Leather Element, drop it in the comment box below. Now this week, I've been working on a project video. Cool project, no hardware pouch, and we've got some cool wet forming on this. But the problem is we've got a button, okay? Easy enough. We typically don't really think of a button in creative terms, but that one small part of our project, all kinds of possibilities. All right, here's how this got started. 1-inch round hole punch, relatively expensive tool with low versatility in our shop. So therefore, we're probably not going to have this tool. That fact alone opens up all kinds of possibilities. All right, let's do this. 8 options for making a button with some cool designs. So let's step over here and look at those. Now, for buttons, I tend to like about a 7/8, maybe an 8 to 9 ounce, because that's going to give me some good durability, a substantial piece of leather. If I don't have that in my shop, I can always take a 3 to 4 or a 4 to 5, glue those together, then I have a very substantial button, all right? So let's do this. We're going to start basic, but you'll see where we're going with this. In fact, look at that. Isn't that a cool design? So let's start, though, with a round. Let's keep it easy. I've got some 1-inch by 1-inch pieces cut. Now, I'm going to use a 4 to 5 ounce here, simply for ease and speed with the video. But just about every bit of this, we can cut by hand, all right? So let's do this. Let's take our square, and we're going to cut off a good portion of each corner. Now, we can absolutely measure this, but for right now, I'm just going to eyeball it. All right, so cool. We've got a bit of a stop sign going there. So if that works for our project design, very cool, easy to make, all right? Let's do this. Let's clip each of these corners off now. And there we go. Okay, so perfectly round it isn't, but it's pretty close. Now we can take this and we can run it on some sandpaper, or we can even slick, and that's going to make a good round button simply by hand. All right, let's start to step this up a little bit. So what I've got here is just a 1 by 1 inch square. Let's take a common round punch. Let's see, this is a 3/16, just something in that area. And what I want to do is use about half the tool. Again, we can measure this, but I'm just going to eyeball it. And I'm going to come in about 2/3 of the distance on that tool. All right, looking pretty cool. Getting there. That's a nice, simple design. All right, let's jump up to a little bit larger round hole, because now we're going to go up to about 1/4 of an inch. And with this, I'm going to sink this about the same. I'm going to leave about 1/3 of the tool hanging off the edge. All right, look at that. Is that not a cool design? Very good shape. Now, one point here. These make great buttons. I can punch 2 holes right here, makes a good button. But also think of using this in the design of our project. Punch 1 hole and rivet 1 or multiple on. That would be cool. All right. Our next, we're going to jump up. We could cut this by hand. In fact, what we can do is we can take a template or even a die cap. And what I want to do is I'm going to come in about 1/8 of an inch from either corner, and let's mark these in. And there we go. Okay, camera probably not going to pick that up, but that's okay. So I've got a 1.5 inch rounding punch, pretty common in our shop. But again, we could cut this if we need to. But let's drop into our marks. There we go. Okay, cool little star working for us. Now let's take that a step further, and let's go in right to our corners with our round end. Okay, right to our corners, and again, I could measure this, not perfect, but notice these points. Those are going to wear and dog ear on us, all right? Well, that actually leads us to another creative aspect. Let's take our round end. In fact, I'm going to punch from the other side about halfway across. All right, cool little shape there. We've knocked those corners, and we've got kind of a cool little design. Yeah, we got much smaller, so with this one, we might want to start with a bigger blank. Okay, now let's step over to one. This is pretty cool. we're going to use a 3/4 inch end punch. Again, relatively common, but we could punch this. Now, I'm going to leave again about let's say about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more, and let's punch all 4 sides. All right, cool. 4-pointed star, looking pretty good. Good button or good design. All right, last one. Kind of made a mess here, but this one is fun. What I've done is I've taken a 1-inch square piece of paper, and I use some art paper so we can actually see it on our white cutting board, but I'm going to fold that point to point and then point to point. So I've got a little triangle. Now with that, let's take our awl, and right in the middle, I'm going to eyeball it. We could measure, but right in the middle, about, say, 3/16 of an inch in, I'm just going to make a mark. All right, let's open this up, take one of our squares, and now let's mark each of those points. There we go. All right. Now let's take our knife, and I'm simply going to cut a point into each one of those little marks. All right, there we go. Well, that looks pretty cool. Very cool little design. All right, now we're going to stop cutting, but there are more possibilities here. Like with this, if we have a very small round end punch, we could make a little rosette and drop in some kind of a stamp design on that. How cool is that? So again, the options here, unlimited, all kinds of ways we can go with some very cool designs. Yet again, one of those places in leather where we really don't think about adding creativity. A button is a button is a button. Well, evidently not, right? We've got all kinds of ways to go. And we didn't even go into wet forming or adding stamps to our designs or borders. There are so many ways we can go with both a button and small shapes that we can use in our designs on our projects for decoration. I hope this is good information for you. Hope it really gets those creative gears turning and you come up with some cool designs. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.